Right, we are live, absolutely live on this beautiful morning. It's a little bit cloudy outside, to be honest, a little bit overcast, but we are live nonetheless. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed. As the Bitcoin price, we can clearly see right now, is coming up to a major area of resistance to top of the local range. We're going to be getting into all the details, following up what we were talking about last week. Gotta give a major shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Make sure to smash the likes, because if we can get the likes to 1,500 within the first 30 minutes, we're obviously going to be giving away 1,000 USDT. Alright? So smash up the likes. Gotta give a major shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to RPM. Looks like Roaring TT. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Gonza. Bitcoin is falling. Altcoins are rising. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Shout out to 58.6 Reto PCs. Alright, I gotta give a major shout out to Trader Geo, alright? Because Trader Geo, he dropped a video wearing an 80s hair metal wig, and I thought to myself, that's pretty awesome, man. I gotta grow my hair out. So I spent the past 2 days growing my hair out, and here we are, baby. Alright? Shout out to Florida J. Shout out to Bitcoin Beaver in the chat. Quiles1100. Shout out to Tim Latest. Are we going to front run, sell in May with a big dump? Shout out to NST. Shout out to Rohit Ramdasta. Shout out to Tina D. Top of the morning. Shout out to LA. Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen, amen. Shout out to Numberfile7. Shout out to Kirk Twos, who says, what? Hopium Copium says, prepare for lower prices, cowboys. Alright, well, we will see what happens there. Shout out to Jay Harmo. What's going on, bro? Shout out to Data PhD from Costa Rica. Shout out to Waffle Cones. Good morning, old chat. Morning, old chat. Sorry, I forgot. I also was from the UK. Not only did I grow my hair over the weekend, I also spent the whole weekend in the UK practicing my accent from across the pond. Alright, let's dive right into the Bitcoin price. Shout out to the sponsors. First of all, BLOFIN. 10% cash back everything you deposit on BLOFIN. Plus 0% limit order fees for the next 38 days, guys, on BLOFIN. 0% limit order fees on BLOFIN. 0.04% market order on BLOFIN. 10% cash back. Regular $100 giveaways. $1,000 future bonus. Chance to win all these prizes. BLOFIN right now is where it's at, man. They are stepping it up because they're trying to fill that exchange vacuum. Everyone's going KYC. BLOFIN stepping it up, baby. Got to give a shout out to BITUNIX. Best liquidity out there with a no KYC exchange. 20% cash back. Great prizes. Also, guys, ANTARCTIC. Lowest fees, period, on ANTARCTIC. 0% limit order. 0.015% market order. Links in the description. Check it out. Check it out. Got to give a shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord, guys. Best trading community in the world, where we give the juicy setups like this one, long from $86,000. And of course, now we went up to almost $96,000. All right. Now let's pop on over to the Bitcoin chart, because there's a few very important things that we need to realize. Thing number one. All right. We have ourselves the weekly close coming up tonight. This is our weekly candle right now. Our weekly candle opened up and went straight up. All right. Now, I have to be honest with you. A lot of times when a weekly candle opens and there's zero wick to the downside, not all the time, but a lot of times, that's not a good sign. All right. It usually means we come back to fix that. You know, there's literally no wick on the weekly candle. None, zero, zip, zilch. Okay. But nonetheless, this candle so far, from its open, is up 10% on the week. Not bad. In 12 hours, 12 minutes, and 3 seconds, we will close that weekly candle. All right. The second thing that we need to be aware of is the confirmed red dot on the daily time frame. All right. So let's just recap the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is that the weekly gave us a bullish divergence, bottom signal confirmed. All right. We were very bullish back here in the April 14th, extremely bullish, talking about how we expect to move back up to potentially around the $96,000 level, which we have not yet hit, but we're very, very close. All right. We've also discussed how this weekly time frame this hidden bullish divergence, this signal has printed only twice in the past few years. The first time it printed was right back here in the summer of 2023. Then it printed in the summer of 2024. We have it printing again right here as we are following this trend line, basically, of the entirety of the bull market so far, right? So we're printing a rare bullish signal, and the daily time frame also giving us a very rare bullish signal, which is as the price is getting lower to our trend line, we're seeing the momentum waves get higher, we're seeing the money flow get higher, giving us the juicy uneven butt cheek pattern, a big juicy left butt cheek, a skinny old right butt cheek. Wow, look at that beautiful uneven butt cheek pattern right here. Whew, that is juicy, baby. But last week, right before we dipped out for the weekend, we were saying, look, the daily time frame looks like it's about to print a local top. And we did, in fact, confirm the red dot. So what does this mean? Does this mean we're bearish? Does it mean we're bearish and scarish? Like we're in our underwearish in front of a crowd of people and they're all laughing at us because we're in our underwear on stage? Man, so embarrassing, so embarrassing. Well, not as embarrassing as the time I was on stage with no underwear and just some tight jeans, and I squatted down. I was in a band. I was playing a show in Canada, all right? Had some tight jeans on. During a breakdown, heavy metal breakdown, you know, on a big stage riser, feeling like a boss. Squat down, because that's what all the attack core bands did back in the day, right? And my pants literally ripped from the crotch all the way down to my knee. And the Fibonacci extension was exposed for everyone to see. And that was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And let me tell you, when the Fibonacci gets exposed in front of a large crowd of people, he gets a little shy. You know, he shrinks back a little bit. Makes it even more embarrassing. Okay, so, you know, how do we get on this topic? So we've been talking about this red dot, saying that, you know, is this the most bearish thing in the world? It's not the most bearish thing in the world, but when you print the red dot on the daily, even after a bullish divergence, let's just look and see what happens, right? Let's just mark out these red dots here, these really overbought red dots, and see what happens, right? We're just going to mark it out. So, when we are ranging sideways, as we were like back here, the red dot basically means sideways and down for at least the rest of the week. And even in a powerful uptrend, all right, even in a powerful uptrend, the red dot means sideways and down for a few days. So right here, even in a very powerful uptrend, we ended up sideways and down for about 4 days, and we came down about 6%. All right, the next time it happened, sideways and down for 6 days, 9% move to the downside. All right. Then it happens again, and as it happened again, basically sideways and down for this time just like a day and a half, but we did end up getting about a 7% drop, all right? And you can just see every time these red dots print, it's sideways and down for the next few days, sometimes more. I mean, obviously this was a bit of a bear div. This was a bearish div. We're not seeing a bear div here, but we're seeing two major things, all right? First of all, we're hitting our target number one. If you take a look at the trade over here, you can see that like this green line, this is from Thursday. We drew this line saying this is the top of the local range, right? We're looking at this whole thing as our sideways range here, where our clearly defined high is going to be the support resistance flip at around $95,000, $96,000. And our clearly defined low now is going to be down here at $74,000. And so I know everyone's very excited to like come into this previous range up here. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for that too. But we have to recognize the fact that this is our local resistance, this is our local range high, this is our support resistance flip. And so when you're seeing market Cipher B print a top as we're coming to a local area of resistance, you have to expect at least just a little bit of resistance, right? Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to dump down all the way, although we'll talk about a possibility. But you would expect sideways and down, just like historically. You know, it's the thing. These high time frames on market Cipher B, like these really clear out the noise. All right. I was so dang bullish down here when this dot was printing. All right, this dot was printing. And I was so bullish because the high time frame signals don't disappoint, right? But same with the daily time frame. The red dots, I mean, you got to take them seriously. You can't be looking for a massive pump when there's a red dot. We have to expect sideways, meaning like consolidation, something more like what we kind of saw around here, or maybe even a few days of down, right? That's what we would lean towards. Not saying it's guaranteed to happen, but we have to be realistic. Like, what is the chart saying? The chart is saying highest probability right now in the coming week, the last week of April, is sideways and down as we're coming up to that area of resistance. Now, what did we do over the weekend? We actually took the liquidity from this last high that we printed up here on the 2nd of March 2025. So if you could see, we literally just took the liquidity like a little stop hunt. And so far, if we zoom in a little bit lower, you know, it's quite interesting. We don't see any major signs of weakness here, just to be clear. Like, we maybe have changed market structure on the hourly, maybe, but nothing major. So we made that high, we came down, we got a retracement back into the Fibonacci golden pocket, and now we are locally here changing market structure with bearish divergences on the hour, all that kind of stuff, all right? So close to tapping that $96,000 level. So this is where we're currently finding our resistance. Now, on the daily time frame, let's keep in mind two things. Number one, we're front running the point of control of the range at 97K. Number two, we're front running the macro golden pocket here at 96K. So what does this mean to me? This means to me that whenever you make a pivot high or a pivot low on a weekend where there's low volume, lower liquidity, oftentimes you see those levels get taken out. All right. So I would be very interested right now as a day trader and looking at this as our sideways range. All right. We have our pretty clearly defined low at around 90,600. We have our pretty clearly defined high right here at around 95,600. And so this to me looks like a local range. This to me looks like something where, you know, when you have this little local range and we put in the high on a weekend, let's see here. That was our Saturday low. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this early next week, Monday or Tuesday. And then if we're going to get more of a retrace, remember, we're looking for sideways and down for the next few days. So this daily red dot could confirm we could get a stop hunt of the weekend highs, and then we could make our way down for the next few days, right? This is kind of what I'm looking at here. Now, we also need to understand something. This is just one possibility, but I think it's a quite probable possibility, because this is just a pattern that we often see play out with Bitcoin, right? We see those weekend pivot highs, pivot lows get taken, stop hunted once the week starts again, and then the real move begins. So, if we see that happen, what are going to be our key areas of support? Because remember, we're looking for sideways and down for the next few days, but we're looking for another push to the upside because this is a very bullish bottom signal here. So what we need to do, what I need to do, I mean, you could do whatever you want. I'm just a guy with 80s hair metal on a treadmill. Don't listen to me. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I'm looking at is this is our sideways range, and I like to pull out the fib. All right. And here's what I see here. Here's what we got going on, in my opinion. If we get a little sideways and down, the first major zone of support is going to be this right here. This green box is coming in between the prices of 87.8 and 89.5. Why is this so key? This is so key because this is actually this blue line right here at around $90,000. Remember, this was our doorway to higher prices. The Bitcoin price had established a fair value zone. Ever since Trump wins the election, we got ourselves a fair value zone right here, where the market has determined that the fair price of Bitcoin is between these two parameters, 90,000 and 105K. And coming down to this area, the market is trying to establish a lower fair value zone, but getting a breakout and coming back above that fair value zone is showing us, okay, the market again wants to consider this the fair price of Bitcoin, which means we can actually look for that move up to 105K. So now that we're back inside the fair value zone, if we come back down to the place where historically the price has been considered undervalued, right? It's undervalued if we come down below $90,000. Then we can look at this now as major support, right? Let's draw this box out farther. Let's notice a pattern here. This is resistance in November, support, support, support. Once we lose it, resistance, 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 breakout. This would be our retest, sideways and down for the few days according to the 1 hour. I'm sorry, according to the 1 day, and then we could look for something like this, right? We could look for something like this. This is a bullish scenario, and if we look at the volume of this area, we can see that not only is this the oversold, aka not only is Bitcoin considered undervalued at this price, but this is the value area high of the previous range, right? Meaning if we bounce from this level, we have confluence here that the market is in fact considering Bitcoin undervalued at this level, and the market is not letting Bitcoin come back down into the previous fair value zone. We have a pretty good confirmation if we see a bounce from around that, you know, like I said, it's a zone, but 87.8 to 89.5. We have a pretty good confirmation if we see a bounce from here that, yeah, the market is looking for higher prices on Bitcoin. That's going to be our very key support for right now. Now, of course, if we lose this box and we're back inside the fair value zone down here, then I have to be honest with you guys, I would expect the Bitcoin price to make its way back down to the bottom of the fair value zone of this lower range, which is going to be 77 to 79. Basically, we're looking to come back down to support. This is historic support. 1 tap, 2 tap, and because we have bullish divergences on the higher time frames, we would now look for this 3rd tap to give us that inverted head and shoulders pattern. Not just an inverted head and shoulders pattern, but an inverted head and shoulders pattern after a higher high in the daily time frame. So we actually do, in conjunction, confluence with the bullish divs on the weekly, the bullish divs on the daily, forming a nice bottom down here. We have in fact made a higher high, taking out the lower high in the previous downtrend that began back here on Monday, January 20th, 2025. So we have a lot of confirmation that more upside is coming. And so if we come back down into the fair value zone and we don't bounce from around 90K, then I would be looking down towards this green box around, let's say, 78, 79,000. Because this is going to be our next support. In which case, I would be looking for something like this. All right? Why would I still be looking for something like this, even though the market is telling us it doesn't consider Bitcoin to be fair valued up here? The reason why I'd still be looking for a bounce if we came down that low is because of the context of the higher term timeframes. Remember, when we look at the weekly time frame here on Market Cipher B, when we confirm this hidden bullish divergence, which historically leads to the next big break in the uptrend, let's just go ahead and pop on our vertical lines here. All right, vertical, vertical, vertical. We could even go back to here. When we confirm that green dot, it never results in straight up action. It always results in a few weeks of downside, actually. Notice this, we confirmed the green dot here, December 2022, and guess what? We actually end up with an 11% drop before the pump. Then, over here, we confirmed the dang green dot, September 2025. We end up with a little bit of a pump, but then we end up with a 7% drop before the big pump, right? Over here, once again, we confirm the hidden bullish div. We get a little bit of a pump the next week, but then we actually get a 12% drop. All right. So right now we've confirmed the green dot. We've come up 10%. If we're going to go based on the pattern, we have, 2 to 3 weeks of basically dumping before the actual pump happens, which is going to put us, in the middle of May, potentially. Right? That's going to put us right here in the middle of May. I'd say between right around that 2nd week of May, so the 7th to the 14th. All right, the 7th to the 14th, where we can actually expect that big move, which means we potentially have now a week or two of choppy sideways action, which lines up nicely with our daily time frame, right? The daily time frame is telling us as we're coming to local support after the confirmation of the big weekly green dot, we're seeing a local top here. But the local top is happening amongst higher time frame bullish signals. It's even happening amongst the money flow crossing from the purple into the blue, right? So because of this, even if we come back down into the old fair value zone, you know, I would be looking for that bounce from support. And right now I'm going to say support is around that 77 to 79,000. Why that level? Because I know it's not the golden pocket, but I just like that level better because it's coming back down to the value area low and the historic support that we had here in like the beginning of March. I just like the way it looks better. It's more symmetrical to me. You'll notice price likes to do that, where when it establishes a level of support and then it gets a stop hunt of that level, we come back down and actually respect that first initial kind of tap, right? So we see that all the time. Look at this, right? We had this support here, right here. This was our key support. We took it out right here, but then when we came back, we actually respected that initial level of support, right? We respected that. And this happens all the time. There's a pattern with Bitcoin that you'll see. And of course, I was ultra bullish here. I thought we were going to pump. Of course, we didn't. But if you're in the Casper crew, we did make juicy money on that bounce, all right? Now, shout out to the Casper crew, because this is when we're giving our long trade setups, our short trade setups, multiple instructors. You know, in the Casper crew, setup given last week, still in the long trade, baby, you know? Over on BLOFIN. By the way, guys, look, I know I'm shilling BLOFIN, but this is legitimately an amazing deal because they are trying to step it up for the Casper crew, and anybody who signs up using my link, they're giving away $500 a month, even if you don't deposit anything. Lowest fees on a centralized exchange right now. 0% limit order, 0.04% market order. 10% cash back. Deposit $1,000, get $100 back. All right. Plus a chance to win all these dang prizes. All right. Also, BITUNIX, great deals as well. And ANTARCTIC exchange, lowest deal on fees, period. This is a decentralized exchange. Links to all this in the description. If you want to join the Casper crew, where we give the setups, multiple instructors, whole beginner course in there, jasoncaspertrading.com. Check it out, y'all. Check it out, y'all. So, that's the deal with the Bitcoin right now. And of course, there is one last scenario that I'm going to be aware of, which is this. Remember, what does Bitcoin, what do the market makers love to do? They love to wreck everybody, right? So right now, we've just wrecked pretty much everybody who's been short since this retracement here that we made on the beginning of March. And so now, why not wreck everybody who's been long since the 7th of April? All right, the ultimate liquidity hunt. Okay, now note, why is this such a enticing thing for me? Because look at what Bitcoin loves to do. All right, we have our clearly defined low. We have our clearly defined high in the range. Okay, what do the market makers do? What do? They literally stop hunt the low, they stop hunt the high, and then we get the move. All right, so for the same reasons, I am interested in the market makers stop hunting the high, stop hunting the low, and then getting our real move, which would line up also nicely with our 2 to 3 weeks time, where we're basically looking for around that second-ish week of May, the 7th to 14th, to get our big move based on the historic time it takes after the hidden bullish divergence confirms on the weekly before we get the big pump, right? So I'm like a conspiracy theorist here, connecting the dots. It all makes sense now. Relax, Jason. They're gonna lock you back up in the institution, my boy. Come on, mate. What do I like to do when I'm freaking out? I like to lick the plunger. No. All right. Would you look at that Bitcoin chart? It looks absolutely massive. Massive, my lad. All right. Man. Yeah, so that's another thing I'm looking for. Plus, look, you gotta understand as well, underneath this box, right, where the longs would be stop hunted, we do have very juicy confluences. For example, August 4th, 2024 low to the January high. Look at that, the Fibonacci golden pocket. All right, the Fibonacci golden pocket. Plus, we also have just the support resistance flip from the highs that we made back here in March 2024, and we also made that high again in October 2024. It would just be a perfect back test, all right, reminding me very much so of the back test of the January 2024 high. You know, we came down to back test it perfectly, which was a long trade given live in the Casper Crew VIP Discord New York Open live stream. I took that long. I told everyone I'm taking this long because, simply because, not that I saw the most bullish confirmations there, but it was just too juicy of a level not too long, right? There comes a point where it's riskier not to take the trade than to take the trade. Because if you take the trade here, you're seeing a bounce from key support. You know where you're wrong, right? It's like, you know you're wrong if we make a lower low. So it's low risk, and you're shooting for the top of the range, all right? It's a very good risk to reward ratio, and of course that trade ended up, I didn't quite make 6 figures on that trade, but I was close. I was close. Upper 5 figures on that one trade, man. That was one of the best trades of my life, to be honest with you. 2023 and beginning of 2024 was by far the most profitable year of my trading career. But yeah, that is. So same deal, we're coming down to one of those levels where it's like we either bounce or, you know, we're going to come to much lower prices. You know, good risk management is key here. You guys got to understand that. If you don't know risk management, don't be trading, all right? You don't know how to enter a position and calculate your risk and use money management. Don't be trading, all right? Don't be trading. Don't be trading. Take a trading course. I'm releasing a free trading course very soon. All right, very soon. In fact, let's see. Let's see what we got here. I got some videos in here. All right. This is not the whole course. This is half the course. The other half is in a different folder, but I've got my free course. I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube. All right, so if you don't know what you're doing, don't be trading. Are you going to lose everything? All your Bitcoin, all your fiat currency, your wife will leave you, your girlfriend will dump you because she found out you had a wife. Not going to be good. It's not going to be good, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Got to give a major shout out to a super chat in the house right now. We've got ourselves Singularity XX, who says, hang on, he says, Jason, can you please look at the W possible breakout? You're talking about Bitcoin, the W on Bitcoin. What do you mean, the W breakout on Bitcoin? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, my friend. I don't really see a W pattern here. Unless you're talking like major high term time frame. But I would say this, all right? I could see this as a massive bump and run breakout here, okay? A massive bump and run. We've got our little bump and run thing going there, which also gives more credence to the idea of coming back down to get a back test here, right? So we will have to wait and see. But I do like this as, I mean, to me this chart looks very bullish, all right? So I don't see a W breakout. Thank you so much for the super chat. But I do see a break of this massive resistance that we've been respecting since the top. It was literally resistance once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Consolidation, breakout. We're flipping resistances into supports. Like Macaron from Francois. El Francois. Oui, oui. Oui, oui. You know? Okay, the W coin. Alright, yeah, let's take a look at the W coin. I never heard of W coin. Is it WE coin? W con? Hang on. Alright, W the coin. Alright, W, okay. Alright, shout out to Singularity XX for the super chat. We're going to take a look at W the coin. Alright, let's check out the weekly. I mean, we've got a weekly green dot. Very, very oversold. Check out our 4-day. check out our daily. So the daily does have some bullish divs here. Here's how I would approach WCoin. Okay. Basically, hang on. Alright, hang on. I'll be right back. I've got to go check on something. So, in the meantime, smash up the likes. We got 900 people in here, 200 likes. If we can have 900 likes by the time I get back, we'll give away $500. Alright, let's see if we have enough likes to do a giveaway. Nope. Sorry, guys. I know, it's tough. It's tough to hit that like button. It's so hard. It's so hard. I didn't used to be able to hit the like button until I started going to the gym and getting less lazy. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so back to the W coin for our man with the super chat. We do have this resistance here, so the only thing I could say is we don't have any local sign of strength or anything like that. I would have to see something like this before I got excited, like a breakout and a retest, because we don't have any structure here to say, are we at support or not? So we need something local. I'd say right now, this is our range high, this is our range low, and we have this diagonal resistance. So a breakout above diagonal resistance, toward the range high, get a pullback, and then boom, then confluence with the bull divs, I'd say. Looking pretty dang nice. It's looking pretty dang nice, to be honest. Let's also take a quick look here at the CME futures. Wow, okay, so CME futures did hit 96.2 on Friday. That's interesting. Okay, alright, wow. So we will have a gap at 96.2. That's also quite provocative. Let's go ahead and put on our CME gap. Oh man, oh my goodness. Yeah, so look at this, guys. We have a CME gap to the upside here for Bitcoin. I'm expecting that this week we get a pump and then maybe dump. Pump and maybe dump. Or maybe we just pump, you know, nothing's guaranteed, but I am very, very interested in the fact that we have a CME gap here. That could be filled when the market opens, and it will open tonight. And that lines up perfectly with the dang Fibonacci golden pocket. You know? Wow. Absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful! Wow. Smashing. Smashing. Shout out to Aaron G. Shout out to everybody in the chat with the dang, with the wrench. Thank you to the mods. Shout out to the Digital Asset Degen. Shout out to Kespo. Shout out to Legendary Sniper. Can I check Initia? I'm not sure. If we can have 900 likes by the time I get back, LMAO. Hey, it's not that hard for everyone to hit the dang like button, bro. I'm just saying, you know. Just throwing it out there, man. Shout out to Aaron G. God bless you, bro. He's busy now, but thanks for popping in. Shout out to CT for the super chat. Is BSV a sleeping giant? I kind of think so. Well, let's check out the BSV chart here. So I would say this. We do have a bit of a bull div here on the weekly that has confirmed recently. It's the only thing I can really say about it. I don't see anything about this that makes me think it's a sleeping giant. Like, we're not forming some kind of massive bullish pattern here. The only thing I guess you could say is that we are forming like this lower highs, higher low consolidation. And so a breakout of this trend line would be very bullish. Money flow getting higher on the weekly. We do have some local weekly bullish divergences here. After a decent looking bottom right here. Like a decent looking bottom, not the best. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. So if you're bullish on it fundamentally, then by all means go get into it. But I don't know. I don't have any kind of strong conviction based on this chart that it's a sleeping giant. And I don't even really know what it is, but it has the word Bitcoin in it, so that sounds good. That sounds good, you know? Bust out the Sweet Child of Mine lyrics. LOL. Alright. You participated in all the giveaways for the last year, at least, and never won anything. Well, you know, there are times where we've literally had like 3,000 people in the dang chat, so, you know, it's a 1 out of 300 chance. 1 out of 3,000 chance. A little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult. Alright, Kespo got one on Christmas Day. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. That's what's up. SFF. Can I do 2 sets to failure? Shout out to Dave Digital in the chat. Are you in the gym right now? Coffee, creatine, and milk. That's what's for breakfast. That's what's up, bro. I hope you're gonna take a shot of that fish emulsion, liquid fish, on your next Twitter food post, bro. So, man, 2 sets to failure. That's what I'm doing right now. I've been doing like a high intensity little. I'm in that groove right now, the high intensity groove. 2 sets, you know, 6 to 8 reps. Spaceman's been here since 15,000 subs and still haven't hit. Look, you guys will all have your chance, man. Every dog has his day. Every dog has his day. Liquid fish. Yeah, anyone out there, you know, if you're a homesteader, man, if you're a gardener, you guys know what's up with the liquid fish. All right, you guys know what's up with the liquid. It's that's the truth, man. If you're out there gardening, I will tell you. So, like, you know, they say size doesn't matter, but when you're growing fruit, size matters. So last year I didn't experiment. I didn't use any fertilizer. I just let the soil do its thing. All right. And I got good harvest, but my potatoes were small, my beets were small. And the year before, I used this stuff. My garlics were small. This is what's up, man. This is what is up if you're trying to garden. All right, see these fingernails? That's how you know if you're a real homesteader, man. Are you out there in the dirt? You out there in the dirt, you got your liquid fish. You know? You got your barn, your chicken coop out there. You got your gardens out there. You know, by the way, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Jason_Casper. All right. You don't want to miss any crazy updates. Wow, 24,000 followers. That's crazy. That is crazy. Sheesh. That is wild, huh? All right, so people are saying Tau is the real sleeping giant. How sustainable is my farm? What do you mean by sustainable? Like, sustainable by itself? Well, I've never tried to sustain it without any outside resources, man. So, like, liquid fish is like a big thing. But last year, I did it without liquid fish, and the only fertilizer I used was poop from my animals. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know if it could keep going on forever without outside resources. I definitely buy straw. I did grow my own straw one year, and to be honest with you, the amount of land that it takes to grow the amount of straw that I would need, I just don't think I could actually do it. Like, I planted about 0.15 acres of oatmeal, And I'll tell you, I'm never going to grow oatmeal again, because the amount of work that it takes for the amount of food that you get is just not worth it. It's a bad risk to reward ratio. It's like a 1-to-1. Growing oats is like this. This is oats. All right, let's see. Now remember, this ain't no GMO oats or whatever. This is like organic oats. You know, I literally planted horse feed, whole oat groats. All right. But, yeah, let's pull this off log scale here. This is growing oats here. It's like a 1-to-1 risk reward. All right, you're risking 1 to make 1. Compared to potatoes. All right, potatoes, growing potatoes is like this. Right? You're risking 1 to make 12. But, yeah, so obviously after I harvested the oats, I kept the straw. But, yeah, definitely buying straw is important. For me, buying fertilizer is important. Diatomaceous earth is very important for me. Neem oil, I wouldn't be able to produce my own neem oil for the cabbages and the kales and all that. And they will get ravaged by the butterflies. And if I don't use neem oil, I got to use the netting, whatever that's called, the tool or whatever. And that's outside as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know how sustainable it could be without outside resources. So I just hope for the best. You know, I hope if everything hits the fan. You know, I live in an area surrounded by farms. So I feel like, in fact, the guy across the street from me, he's a hay farmer. That's all he does, man. Well, that's not all he does. He also raises cattle. But primarily, he does hay. So I'd hope that maybe, you know, we could work a deal. You know, my neighbor's a hay farmer, so maybe I could trade him some of my eggs and my potatoes for some of his cow poop and hay. You know? Alright, we got another super chat in the house. Shout out to Singularity XX. Easy short on Alpaca. Let's check it out. I'll be honest with you guys, like right now I do not have my pulse on the altcoin markets here. So the only thing I can do is tell you the chart. Okay, but I am not paying attention to fundamentals at all. So Alpaca. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I guess it does look like an easy short if we're just looking at the range here. It does look like an easy short on good old Alpaca. Let's go down to the daily. Yeah, we got a bear div on the daily. Of course, it's been a while since that high's been put in. Let's check out the risk to reward here if we come back down to our trend line. I mean, you need a 46% stop loss for a 1.8 to 1 risk reward. I mean, I feel like you're a little late to the party on this one. I wouldn't take it. Risking 1 to make 1.8. That's not really worth it to me. But it would have been a good short in the moment if you caught that liquidity grab. Aquaponics is the best. Yeah, I ain't got time for that, man. I ain't got time for that. I do things as simple as possible. Aquaponics, in my opinion, it takes a lot of work and infrastructure. I just like to put the seeds in the dirt, you know? Just referring to food. Oh, well, so digital asset degen. To be honest with you, I don't think so. I don't think I could survive only off my own land, but that's definitely the goal. So every year I increase my garden space by quite a bit, and my focus always is on calorie production. So that's why my staples are potatoes, beans, squash, and chickens, because I feel you could live off of those 4 things pretty well. So right now, I'm not growing enough potatoes, beans, squash, and I don't have enough chickens to support my family 100% for the year. I definitely buy a lot of outside things like quinoa, rice, beans, oil. That's a big one. And obviously, like in the wintertime, I still eat fresh fruit and vegetable from the actual store. So thankfully, praise God, I've never been in a situation where I've needed to live 100% off the land. But I would say this, in the summertime, I'd say, you know, between July leading up into the winter, I purposefully try to eat as much as I can only from the stuff I produce. So I eat a lot of potatoes, a lot of beans, a lot of squash. In fact, even right now, what's so funny is I'm planting beets and I'm planting potatoes, and I'm still eating beets and potatoes from last year's harvest. And I'm still eating squash from last year's harvest too, the butternut squash. So those are like huge staples in my diet in general. Potatoes, squash, beans. I love squash and potatoes. I eat so much squash and potatoes. So much. I think it's really good for you too. It'll help you poo good too. Just throwing that out there. Shout out to Charlie Cryptic. Jay, can you give your thoughts on Gala? Any chance of hit all-time highs? Yeah, potatoes can grow anywhere. I've grown potatoes in literally the worst soil conditions ever. I didn't think they were going to grow. I didn't do anything to the dirt. I used a rototiller in rocky soil. Could barely even get deep enough to plant the potato and cover it. And then I just covered it up with hay. And we got good potatoes. And from then on, I've loved them. Let's look at Gala. All right, so let's take a quick look out. This obviously did not hold. POC did not hold. Value area low obviously did not hold. We are coming back down now to take the liquidity of the range here. So, do I think Gala can hit an all-time high? Well, I hope so, because I actually have quite a bit of Gala. I have quite a bit of Gala. If we're going to look at this as a sideways range, all right? Hang on. We're going to look at this as a sideways range here. We're at the bottom of the range. Bullish divs on the daily. Bullish divs on the weekly. I have to say, the Gala chart has not looked this bullish throughout the entirety of this range. At the lows of the range. Confirmed weekly green dot. Money flow getting higher. If we have a shot, this is it. I have to say, we are at support. We have bullish weekly divs, bullish daily divs. We've taken the liquidity from September 2023. If we have a shot for Gala hitting new all-time highs, it's from here. All right. I say we have a pretty good shot right now of coming back to the top of our range. Last time the weekly bottomed out, we came to the top of the range. Time before that, to the top of the range. Time before that, to the top of the range. So I'd say right now, things are looking like Gala's looking for a move back to the top of the range, couple 100%. And if we do get an alt season and Bitcoin's bullish for the next few months here in the second week of May, gives us what we want, then I think we could see Gala hit a new all-time high. And I hope we do. I hope we do. You hope I keep it going? Man, I want to keep the homestead going, guys. Like, here's the thing. Like, not only do I love doing it, not only do I thoroughly enjoy working the earth, but the way I look at it is, like, it's just part of being self-sufficient. So I never want to put myself in a position where I stop working on the homestead. Because even if I don't need it, the day could come where I do need it. So the way I look at it is, if I have the moving parts in place and our lifestyle is centered around that, then if the day comes where I do need it, then, you know, I'm off to a much better start than most people who have their emergency seed bank and a big backyard but never actually got the experience doing it, you know? So alright, so, and I've heard this too about Gala. It's hyperinflated. It's impossible to all-time high. It says enjoy money. Yeah, so keep that in mind, guys. You know, keep that in mind. Like, I don't know about the fundamentals of Gala, but Divine Hood says this as well. So, yeah, it could be one of those that's impossible. So that would suck. That would suck. Is there a hidden bull div in the 4 hour? Are you talking about for Gala or for Bitcoin? If you leave potatoes inside for too long, yeah, they grow eyes. They grow eyes. So here, don't ever eat green potatoes, guys. If they have too many eyes, always rip those eyes off. But I've eaten potatoes when they're like soft-ish and wrinkly, and they're still good. All right, they're still good. Do I have a home gym? Yeah, of course. I've had a home gym since 2018. I would do it no other way. I'd do it no other way. Shout out to Stacy, 17 years clean from heroin. Praise God. Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Man, I'm so thankful. Every morning I wake up so thankful. I just praise Jesus every morning. The first thing I do, I go into my prayer room every single day. And I just look out the window. And I thank the Lord for every good thing that He's given me in my life. Really helps me orient my day. There's so many things to be thankful for, guys. Life is short, life is hard, but the Lord is good. Alright, Solana. Let's look at Solana. Okay, so here's the deal with Solana. Again, Bitcoin's going to lead the way. But Solana right now is getting a swing failure pattern. Look at the monthly. Man, look at this monthly candle, guys. We have 3 days to confirm this monthly bullish candle. Could be a bullish engulfing candle on the monthly. Alright. Weekly hidden bullish divergence here. Looks really good in my opinion. Weekly hidden bull div from the last pivot low. We've got some really nice looking daily bullish divs here. Just like Bitcoin, we've got the red dot. So I would be looking for either our inverted head and shoulders or take the low one more time. But Bitcoin's going to lead the way, guys. I truly believe that. So any decision I make on altcoins is going to have to be based on what Bitcoin is doing. And remember, I'm looking for a few weeks out. So May 7th to the 14th, when we get that major move. FOMC is happening that week. And historically, after the green dots print, and we get a little bit of a pullback, that's when we get the big pump. All right? How do you store potatoes without a fridge? Yeshua Akbar. I put them in... I have sawhorses in the basement, and I put them on the on plywood across the sawhorses, and I cover them with moving blankets, and that keeps them dark. I keep them separated, and I stack layers on top. That's how I do it, without a fridge. That's how I store my squashes too. You know? Shout out to HFG in the chat. God bless you, HFG. Follow the Jesuits' wisdom and you'll see. What are we talking about? I'm breaking into a conversation here. I'm talking about Jesuits in here, Sophia. What exchange is the cheapest way for swing trades? Well, here's the thing. The swing trades, definitely you are going to end up paying fees in the funding fee. All right. But here's the thing, like, you might actually get paid to be in your trade as well. So I don't think there's any exchange that's cheapest for swing trades. You just got to keep an eye on that funding fee. So for example here, you know, what's interesting is, I've been holding a swing short here for quite some time. And you can see I've actually made $1,100 on the funding fee. And I only paid $46 in the trading fee, you know? So shorts, you'll get paid. It switches, right? It switches. The funding fee is what's going to eat into your profits. To me, it's not really a big deal. And all exchanges are about the same. Like WEEX right now has a, let's see, what's our funding fee? A 0.0027% funding fee. BLOFIN has a 0.013. So it's higher on BLOFIN than on WEEX right now. But I don't know if really there's a difference. I haven't noticed a difference in my profits, and I hold swing trades on all these exchanges, right? So I don't even think this is going to tell me my funding fee here. But it's been $6,000 around that for quite some time here. I can't see the history here because it goes back too far. Do I have any prop trading affiliates? I think I'm affiliated with Apex. But that's Boyan's brainchild thing. That's because he trades that stuff. I don't, you know. Did I release trading course? Not yet. Not yet. No, I didn't do it yet. Without God, you're no one. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? When you realize how little control we have in life, and every good thing we have is just because of the Lord's grace and mercy, looking back at all the times He's protected me from things, given me so many things I don't deserve. Yeah. But look, if you have the Lord, you have everything, right? He bestows good covenant faithfulness, and He owns everything. Okay, to the right, under the order placement, there's a section. I don't know. Is this it? I don't know. I'll have to look for it. Am I thinking we dump and then go to the CME gap? So I'm kind of hoping we pump to the CME gap and then get a little bit of a pullback. How do I have the patience to wait for a retest after a breakout? You just gotta wait. I mean, honestly, like I don't take very many trades, to be honest with you. If I'm not scalping, I just wait. You know, you just gotta wait for your setups to come. You know, you just gotta wait for those setups to come. Shout out to Sports T. All right, guys, I gotta head out, man. God bless everybody in Jesus' name. May the Lord bless you all. It's been such a good stream. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. And Lord willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.